Hello, welcome to another video of mine. And if you didn't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Liking is clicking the thumbs up, and subscribing is clicking the big red subscribe button. They should be down below the video title or viewing area. And yeah, on with the video. For this video, we have how realistic are ARK's creatures. And I'm a pretty active ARK player, and I've encountered a lot of creatures, from the giant Spinosaurus to the tiny Lystrosaurus. So yeah, let's move on. Alright, first we have the Dilophosaurus. I rate this a 3 out of 10. It's like a Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus. Super undersized, it's pretty scaly for the most part. It does have some quills back here, which I do really like, because ARK is a pretty good game when it comes to feather covering. And the real Dilophosaurus probably had lots of feathers, and definitely no neck frill, definitely no poison spitting. And yeah, 3 of 10 for this Dilo. Alright, next we have the Arthropleura. This is basically just a giant millipede. What they did get wrong is, the general size. They got it a few feet, bigger than the actual one, which is no biggie. And they made it a carnivore. The real Arthropleura was not a carnivore. It was an herbivore. It ate ferns and whatnot. And this Arthropleura in ARK also spits poison, which also Arthropleura didn't have. Its protection was its large shell. And generally it's a 5/10. Next we have the Dimetrodon. I gave this a pretty good rating, a 6 of 10. I would give it some fur, like in the real one down here. I would also give it a more curved sail, because this one has kind of a triangular sail, and none of this. This thing didn't exist. I don't know what this thing is, but it did not exist. But they got the size and the diet, the lifestyle pretty good. Next is the Elasmosaurus. I rate this a 4 of 10. It had the ARK one has a really round head, but the real one has like a narrow head, like a normal fish eater would, because this was a fish eater. It was very similar to an albatross, but it lived underwater. And the neck is also undersized in ARK. The teeth are too big, and the body is generally a bit small. The flippers are a bit large as well. The back and front flippers were pretty much the same size. Yeah, I give this a 4. Pteranodon. I also give this a 3 of 10, like the Dilo. It looks like it was based off of a wyvern dragon, which it probably was, because the name is called Pteranodon wyvernus in the game. Written by Helena Walker, one of the main characters in the game. The real Pteranodon had pycnofibers all over it. So all over this body would have been pycnofiberage. It did not have pointy wingtips. It had curved wingtips. And you can get more info on Pteranodon by clicking the eye in the corner for my Pteranodon kind of longiceps video. It's fixing your creatures number 2, Pteranodon. None of this. I don't know what this is. What is the skin here? I don't know what that is. The crest is undersized, and the beak should be curved a little. But also in the game, it can carry massive stuff like Ankies. No, I don't think the Pteranodon can carry Ankies, but it can carry stuff, which is also a no-no because Pteranodon couldn't carry stuff. Spinosaurus, I give this a 5. They did get it right when they made it so that it was partly bipedal, partly quadrupedal. The sail should be more like a square, and the crest is good. The crest is pretty good. They got it so that it spawns in rivers and beaches, which is nice. But they only gave it webbed feet and hands. It should have a big paddle-like tail, like a big rudder. Spinosaurus mainly went in the water. It was a water creature, transition between land and water. And if Spinosaurus never died out, it probably would have been the new version of the dino version of a whale. Kind of that transition between Ambulocetus and Rhodocetus. Also, it is speculative that Spinosaurus had feathers, little feathers, and little whisker-like feathers all over it. Not all over, but on its snout to detect fish. This is all mainly speculative, though. Spinosaurus, I give it a 5. Alright, Yutyrannus. This is, this is a super good representation of a video game Yutyrannus. 7 of 10. I would only fix its pronated wrists. Dinosaurs never had their wrists, they never did the slap, they did the clap. So they could clap, but not slap. That's the way of telling. Also, it's a bit fuzzy. They really did an overload on feathers. It should be less fuzzy. I think the old Yutyrannus was like a floof pillow. It was like a giant floofy floofer. Shouldn't be that way. Should only have feathers up to the head, which is good. And it does have a little ridge of scales here, which I do like. And it has teeth and stuff. All of it is generally really good. All right, T-Rex or Tyrannosaurus. It's not T-Rex. I give it 3. No feathers, as you can see. It probably had feathers based on the discovery of Yutyrannus. These wrists are pronated as well. And it doesn't have the little bone skin thing on its snout, as you can see with Yutyrannus. Generally, I give it a 3. It's not great. All right, the Mammoth. I give it a 7. Correct. I mean, it's a bit oversized. If this was M. columbi, which it probably isn't, it's probably closer related to M. primigenitus. But it's not M. primigenitus. All of these are separate species in the genus, so it's like the average mammoth size. So I would give it a 7. Mammoths never had the 4 tusks. I don't know why they have it of 4 tusks. The ears are the correct size. The trunk is good. They did it right when they said that it lived in herds, as the dino dossier for the mammoth says, and it has a little fuzzy head, as it probably had in real life. 7 in general. All right, Triceratops. Triceratops probably had a little bit of featherage on the end of its back. It had horns, but this is a crossbreed between Triceratops porosus and Stegosaurus, which why it has these horns over here, according to the Dino dossier, which is in the game, so it's official. The best thing I could get was a Triceratops porosus. I don't think this would be I don't think this is crossbred with Triceratops horridus, as the horns are not curved down. And generally, yeah, I would give it a 5. The horns are a bit exacerbated here, or yeah, extra, and the horns here are a bit extra. Yeah, I would give it a 5. All right, Steggy McWeggy. Um, it did not. This is 6. It had a really short neck. This is too long of a neck. The size is definitely correct. I would give it less tail spikes. It only had 4, and the it never had a double row of spikes, and you probably couldn't ride it, as in the game you can create a stego saddle, but you can't really ride it in real life. Otherwise, you would get a spike up the anus. All right, the last one is the compy. I would give this a 4. Compies can travel in packs, which they probably didn't do, and they're pretty darn aggressive towards you. Um, which is probably not because they know better. I mean, they would go after small mammals and reptiles. They would never go after like a 6-foot human when they're only like 2.5 feet long. I would get the Dilos. I would get everything else but the compy. It's like if a dodo tried to attack you, it'd be weird. And I would give it more feathers and non-pronated wrists. Its pronated wrists are definitely no, and it had probably had more feathers, as its relative, not relative though. Screomimus is not a relative, but it's like a non-silosaurian version of a compy, as it probably had it had feathers. So yeah, that's basically it. Anyways, goodbye.